Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck. Tonight we will have our co-host, our brother Mac Epps with us, and we will be discussing 2024 year in review recap. Nightcap recap, man. 52 Tuesday. All right, get ready. We're going to talk Mississippi Move. We're going to talk Hemp World South. We're going to talk DJ George Chuck. We're going to talk all of the things that we're involved in. And just reflect and regroup and recalibrate and think about what we're going to do to be revolutionary and evolutionary in 2025. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. All right. What's happening?
What's the deal, Pickle?
I don't know. Talk to me. Tell me something good.
Hey, we here. Can't beat that, brother.
We in this thing.
We in this thing.
What's up, B-side?
There you go. I knew it.
We in this bit.
There it
they
is.
think they seeing me, but it ain't seen shit.
Oh.
Girls on the pole want to take my pick.
Don't take it back. Don't take us back. Don't take us back. Don't take us back. They ain't ready. They ain't ready, man. Man. Sabir. What's Sabir say?
Sabir says 2024, in my opinion, for Move was the year of the volunteer. We did, hey man, we mobilized and we energized our base. That's the political movement, politic words, nonprofit words, our base.
Big shout out to Sabir Assad Abdul Ahak, our volunteer coordinator, the person that put the thing together with the group me and all the things and keeping them engaged. He definitely pulled some people in. We had great support and great showing for 2024 for volunteers, and they showed up and showed out. And hopefully they'll stick around for 2025 because we're going to be all the way live in 25.
It's all the way live.
In
It's all the
25.
way live.
Damn, ooh, buddy.
Lakeside, right?
When you start singing, when you start calling out these numbers, you start thinking, like, I remember what I was doing in 95. Now
I
it's
do remember
20,
what I
about
was
to be.
doing in 95. I remember walking into the band room the summer of 95. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, look, I sound like an old nigga, golly. Um, if I'm not mistaken, all right, I was either first or second chair by the time I left KJ Clark, also known as Clark School of Math and Science. So I've been playing the drums at Pleasant View since the 5th grade. Got to Clark and played in the band from like 7th and shut up, Kenosha.
Okay, okay.
Look, um, played in the band 7th to 8th grade, and then I was like, and played football too, right? Uh, man, got to the band room. I'm nervous. Like I knew the band director because he knew my dad. And I
Hmm.
got there. I'm like, man, I hope because LaFleur is like the band to be in. John L. LaFleur High School Marching Rattlers band was the band to be in. Biggest band in Mobile, well respected, like sent a number of drum majors to a number of different institutions, all of that, right?
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm just praying I can get in. Got in, made a snare line. And that's a difficult thing to do. Like the snare is the most difficult part of the drum section to get on. And I made the snare line, man. So that's what I was doing in 95. Mac, what were you doing in 1995?
1995. Let's see. 95.
Dun, 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 dun,
Um,
dun,
I was in the
dun,
band.
dun,
At this time, I
dun.
was still playing trombone. um, what could I say?
Got that trick that they had on.
Hey, you got to do what you
I
got to do. You got to
don't
cover
know
that tater.
what
Uh,
the world gonna bring.
Man, 95. I guess it was like, some folks I knew, people I knew, were starting graduating, going to high school. Because I always hung out with older, upperclassmen. So
Mhm.
it kind of was a changing of the guard type of thing. Um, just getting kind of really just getting into, you getting your high school feet together. Like I said, I was in the band. And I just remember the summer. The summer was different. That's you had. Man, we had some music that came out in '95. If
Yeah.
you get it while you on your thing right now, Chuck, look at what dropped in the summer of '95. Look at songs that dropped in summer of '95,
Okay.
and just think about that. And we
I'm
just
still.
we just re, we recapping. We started off with 24 guys, but then we just kind of sparked
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Chuck
Look,
started stating about.
we thinking about 25 is how we got to 95.
Right. We look at back, we're like, damn,
Yeah.
just think about we about to talk about 95 and 25, but we remember talking to I'm talking about real, just well into developing who you gonna be in 95.
Yeah, yeah. The 94 is me. Well, let's say spring 95, fall 95. Spring 95, you're ending your 8th grade year for me. I am transitioning, like you said, to high school, and 8 Ball and MJG are they're coming out. Um, you got 3 6 Mafia dropping Mystic Styles. Um, you got Shucks, you got Skilo. I wish that's one of my
Wow.
jams right there, bro. 99 Ways to Die by Master P is coming out. Mia X, Good Girl Gone Bad.
Yeah. Remember that.
KRS-One title album, KRS-One dropped in 95. The Dog Pound, Dog
Yep.
Food dropped in 95. Cool G Rap 456, that dropped in 95. Soul Food by Goody Mob. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then look at this. Me Against the World dropped in 95. Tupac.
Just me against the world.
Now, here's what set the stage for 95.
Hmm.
Oh my God, dog. All right.
What?
Illmatic, Nas. Southern
Yeah.
Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music for
Let
Your
me play
Trunk,
it,
94.
listen. Oh, my bad.
Ready to Die, Biggie. Scarface the Diary.
I had that. I had the diary.
Super Tight, UGK.
Yep. When Dog
Method
Style
Man,
came out.
Method Man to Cal. G Funk era, Warren G, 94. Hard to Earn, Gang Star, 94. Common, The Resurrection, 94. Oh my gosh. The Main Ingredient, Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Sabir's gonna love this one. The Beat Nuts, Street Level, 94.
Hmm.
Bro. Not 94 set the stage
For
uh
95.
for 95, man. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty.
I got my first I got my first real paycheck in 1994. My first real paycheck, I made $22.92 for hauling hay. I was stacking. So that's because I've been running errands on my bike, doing a little cutting grass.
Yeah,
This was like, and that's why I guess I can relate to watching Yellowstone. And it kind of like when you can't wait till you get old enough to start doing what the men do. They're like, come on. Like, you ain't just hanging out on the truck today, right? You working. And
yeah.
and me and one of my partners, Tubu, we was on a trailer. And you think, Chuck, I don't know if you've seen a cotton trailer, but cotton trailer with no rails can hold a whole lot of hay. Whole lot of hay. Yeah, so yeah, we were stacking hay in '94. My first paycheck.
Yeah, I can say paycheck. I ain't get a check until no, I'm gonna say I got some love tokens in tech form from the church for playing the drums.
Oh, mm-mm. My church dude didn't come with no money.
Well, I'm gonna say this. All right. It was more so one of those things where it was all right, you got $22, I got $25.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Like if you look at the amount of hours that you put in at church versus the dollars that you had handed to you, hey baby, here's some just a little something to keep the hanks out for you. You
I
know.
mean, what you make me think about is an era of hustling. Um,
And I should say he was working with Bob Moses.
oh man, the
Algebra
Algebra
project.
Project.
Algebra
Yeah, Algebra
project.
Project. Yeah.
Yeah.
So by around this time, I'm starting to take Taekwondo. Uh, meet meet Carl, and next thing start coming to Southern Echo trainings, and around about 90, 95, 96. That's why I ended up meeting Sabir. That's when we had got so. So the crazy thing about it is the connection with Bob Moses and Brother Hollis is Brother
Yeah.
Hollis was one of the first recruits for SNCC from Bob Moses,
Hmm. Right.
and them jokers kept working. I guess that would make me and Albert stay in contact with each other. But bro, man, so what I was thinking about was I watched an interview when Coach Prime was talking about how these players get these numbers these days, and they just want the numbers like you had to earn it. And like thinking about the '90s, like when nobody giving you a whole lot, you had to figure it out.
Right.
And I just thought I was thinking about how you couldn't wait till you get old enough or big enough to work and get stuff for your own. That was your motivation, to get that a little bit more responsibility to get your own, to get your own. I remember riding. Majority of everybody that went to my church stayed in town. So I remember riding my bike, picking up medicine from the drugstore and picking up different things, taking it to the mothers of the church. And then here you go, here you look, you can keep the change for this and a little bit of that. That
Yeah.
was my hustle. I was waiting on that phone call. I was waiting. Hey, you It ain't too much for you to go to the grocery store. No, ma'am, I can go to the grocery store. I can go to T and get you some stuff and bring it to you. I can go
Right.
to
I
it
wanted to
was
ride
that
my bike anyway.
I want to ride my bike now. I got a reason, and it's but it was that
Got some
drive,
money attached to it.
and that's what I was like, man, that was missing. Like we had to get it. We was that last group. We had to get it, and we had to figure it out. And the '90s, we had a little bit of technology, but we still had old school things we had to do.
Man powered. Yeah. A lot of things were still man powered. Yeah.
If your air conditioner worked, you got money. If, if your air conditioner worked in your car, and
Yeah.
like in the '90s, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because what's Sabir go? Sabir had a car. Sabir had a car that was a stick shift. Sabir has always had a stick shift. He had a car that he had a stick that he had to hold it in fifth gear with. Once he had to keep it from dropping out again, he had a stick that he propped in, hold it that held the car in the fifth gear,
So he could cruise.
so he could cruise and move the stick out the way when you downshift. There you go. There you go. What you drinking, Chuck? We done got all into that.
I'm gonna have some whiskey. Sabir
Right.
says Suleiman Abdullah was teaching me electrician concepts on Marion County 10 roofs. He used to say, "Hey, everyone, it's noon, lunchtime. If you ain't got a lunch, it's just 12."
Wow.
He said, "Yep, the Rough Rider."
That's what it was. That's what he called that car, the
Yeah,
Rough Rider.
yeah, man. So look, Mac, let's jump into 2024 and talk about let's talk. Well, let me. All right, you you got your beverage. Let me get mine.
Yeah.
I would like for you to give us an idea of some of the things that kind of stuck out or surprised you or um good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. Like what are the things that I guess stick out to you most about 2024?
I think I remember us talking about this earlier this year. Um, about we started off the conversation about how people, for people that always look out for others, when you start to look out for yourself, they would say something about you being selfish, and we started to say no. The term we want everybody to start using is self-focused. Um, so I think we started to look at some things, um, being self-focused. Like we really wanted to take Mississippi Move to another level. We started looking at different ways how we were doing things and trying to be more organized internally. What's that?
That's a cut above local whiskey by Crittenden's out in the Kill.
Bring me a bottle of that when you come back up, because I'm drinking some Woodford
Double
Reserve
oak.
right now. Yeah. Um, no, I'm not. No, it's not double oak. It's just a regular.
I
Yeah.
got one.
Bring me a bottle of that when you come up.
Single barrel.
Um, huh?
Single barrel.
What you drinking?
This single barrel right here.
Yeah. That's- Um, we started looking at. I guess the thing that caught about surprise was us uh being Was that last year or this year? We were
That's
this year,
this year.
right? We were
To my
recognized.
young, gifted, and empowered.
Correct. So I guess that kind of lined up with us saying that we want to focus on getting Mississippi moved and moving it and getting into another level, and us focusing on growing it, developing the organization. And so part of that piece was being recognized for the work that we've been doing for the last, uh, actually, like I said, last 20 years.
Yeah.
Mississippi Move started as a coalition in 2004, and
20
that
years later.
line, yeah, and that lining up with the way the volunteer pieces started to go. So I definitely highlight that, and that recognition did catch us off guard. Um, it made us feel appreciated that folks were watching and seeing the work that we are doing, and our work is always about trying to help someone solve a problem, and meet an immediate need, and be focused on what with the focus on a long term solution. Um, so definitely that, and it's been a whole lot, man. I guess we have on the other side we've lost a lot of people, especially on the larger scale of celebrities, of folks that people watch. There are a lot of us we for its entertainment world and different things like that that we watched a lot growing up. And then we sometimes if you think about the dad from Good Times, right? Strong black father figure.
Yeah.
Um, there was, you had two types of parenting that we watched growing up. You had Heathcliff Huxtable, and you had James Evans, and the boy didn't make it. The boy didn't make it in neither one of those shows.
Oh no,
he
nobody was gonna be allowed to make it.
No, you weren't gonna make it. But those are the things we saw. Um, on a smaller level, I mean, on a lower level, like for as locally, um, we've seen a lot, right? We've seen a lot of happen. We've seen the strategy to take over. Um, we've seen a whole lot happen. So it's just now kind of reflecting, highlighting the positive, building on that, and then the things that did not go the way we wanted, like what happened, and what can we do about it? How can we prepare and be better for 2025? And those are one of the things we, start looking at our surveys and in our own internal feedback or something that we want to do different for 2025. And I know we looked at that for us, like, hey, we want to start getting some stuff out early. We want to be on top of things. That's with me. That's what I'm looking at. What about you, Chuck?
Uh, I definitely. Yeah, well, what sticks out in my mind, I do appreciate Mississippi Move being recognized by Young, Gifted, and Empowered. Um, I do recognize by being put on a stage like that with 20 years worth of lessons that come along with, knots on your head and skint up knees. Um, it also showed that regardless of how banged up we might be, we actually had some impact, or we were able to do what our mission says, our rallying cry, to move Mississippi forward. So I agree with you um there, Mac, in terms of our success being realized or actualized in the form of like recognition, right? So beyond that, I also, because I think we've been able to live our lives in a way where we can do things that matter to us and also matter to some of the people who may need us the most, right? Or definitely need us the most in our families, like the people that we care for. Um, we've done things that allow us to be, I would say, as close to 100% present as possible. Whether that is being able to break away and go and do something, or being able to have careers or career situations where we can not go and do whatever it is that somebody might want us to do. We had a choice. And then there's sometimes where it's like, what, I have to go and do this. But it was always a situation where we were in the decision making role.
Hmm.
We made, some sacrifices, um, one way or the other, but it was always us being in a position where if we needed to go and recruit volunteers, or if we wanted to cultivate a partnership, um, and to figure out how all of these things work together. Like how do these things fit? So the other things that I'm talking about is on the entrepreneur side. Like Mac, with Hemp World, um, like you you've run a store, like a brick and mortar. Like it's not a virtual business. Um, and that's not our first attempt at running a brick and mortar. Like just reflecting on the nest and everything that we did there. All of the things are in our past are the path that we walked and ran and crawled. Um, they led you to a place where you were able to springboard Hemp World. Um, and even with some of the things that we've done on the Yard Boy side, like providing services at the convention center and providing services for high end clients that they don't want certain people in their business, so they know when they call Mac, they're gonna get professional service. They're gonna get discretion. Uh, they're gonna get. They know that things will be done uh, in a manner in which their grandmother, mother, father, father-in-law, whomever, their president, their executive director would deem appropriate, above board, and professional. And I think that's how I tried to run the DJ business from when we started at Tougaloo all the way up until now when we're mentoring DJ Curry. So off the top of my head, man, just thinking about like what you've done with Hemp World and the bartending, um, what you did with shoot, man, alumni weekend. Um,
Man,
like that that one alone, and looking at like all the lessons that we learned from Greek weekend and how those have rolled in the alumni weekend, like all of those things are like when you do this recap,
hmm
you're thinking about 52 weeks of activities. The activities in terms of events, the activities in terms of like family stuff. Um, but man, it's a lot. But if you sit down and you reflect, you truly realize how blessed and how many things you have that you should be grateful for. So that's where I am right now, man. I'm just thinking about like
yeah,
all of the things.
bro. We were hit this year um, for us health wise, and start off with my daughter and wife getting COVID, and then my uncle got COVID, and then I got COVID. Um, and we had some other health issues and things that transpired. Um, and yet and still we're here on December what's
17th.
the date? 17th. Um, everybody's doing a lot better. The situation we made it through to the other side. Um, head was bloody, but never bowed. We never stopped,
Buddy.
and we stayed understanding that no matter how the situation looked, they could have been worse. Thankful for the opportunity to continue to move forward, and getting a better space of healing and growth. And then, like I said, in 24, it's a lot of celebration. My daughter graduated from high school, right? She she started she started college and has completed her. Um, she's now completed her requirements as a freshman and about to be a first semester sophomore.
Mm,
All that happened in one year. in
and that's a
the
lot.
in the, in the same year, right? The
Yeah.
same the same year. So yeah, man, it's just it's what we call life. There are some things that look over here and you're like, hey, and then there's some things over there that you make you just like, man. and it was avoidable. And but you always think about the situation could have been in a worse, could have been worse, and you could not have had as many options as you did to be able to move about and still keep moving, even though you had those different things happening at the same time. So,
Yeah.
um, but we did get Mo in 24. A lot of it, when we said that, some of it wasn't what you wanted. Well, we got it right. Um, but as you get older, we know why people's perspective changes. You see so many things happen that's not as positive. So many people that are actually leaving here, and it would just make you feel like, hey, I'm happy to be here. Look, I'm in good
Yeah.
health. I can still run if I have to run. I can still do this. I can still do that. And we learned that, especially, it's not about our age. There's folks that's younger than us that have dealt with some traumatic situations when
Yeah.
it comes to health, but we are still able um, to still do what we need to do, right? And so I think that's just a part of the growing process as you continue to. You can age and still not grow,
Yes, sir.
right?
I do 100% agree with you.
And so we're constantly looking at those things, and it's a lot of things we're gonna talk about in January 25. We know some things we're holding, but it's a lot of things we're gonna talk about in January 25. In the next level we're going to, the new direction we're moving. The crew, our crew, we're not so much of folks that just talk about something. When we talk about it, we plan it, and what we learn to do sometimes when it's in the planning process, we don't say nothing until the plan has been executed and is in an active role, and we tell you what we got going on and what we're doing versus what we're thinking about doing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we,
Yeah. One of the things that I like to say to us in terms of like when we're reflecting and we're
mhm,
doing this recap, um, and I'm not even I don't want to say any of these other numbers, but I'm using it for context. I
mhm.
came across something on social media. And before I do that, let me do it. Cheers to Nightcap. Cheers to the Nightcappers. Cheers to anybody out there that wants to do more with their time. They want to make their time uh more valuable, thereby making you more profitable and bringing more income and resource into your home. Like cheers to you. So let's do that. Um the point that I want to bring up, man, as we looking and reflecting on 24 and then taking something forward into 25, this social media post, it says the average entrepreneur is 42, the average millionaire is 61. 5% or maybe less than 5% of people in the US earn over two-thirds. Only 5% of people in the US earn over $200,000. So other than that last one, that 5% comment, the thing that I'm happy about for us is that we've lived our life in a way where we've been entrepreneurs. We are homeowners. Um, we are pouring into not only our family, but we're also pouring into and sharing some of the things that we've learned through lessons with other people, with our community. We've been of service to not only um, Tougaloo and to Jackson, or to Gulfport, or to the sports teams that we're associated with, but we've been of service to the state of Mississippi. We've even helped out neighbors in other states and municipalities outside of our zip code. So, man, the thing is just like you said, you got to focus on yourself. But the only way that you get the opportunity to help other people is to make sure that you got your stuff together. Um,
I think that's, and for us is, how do you do whatever it is that you, whatever the service is, like it help you be better at that, right? And that service help meets the need of a lot of people. Um, we've been big on talking about mental health, financial health, and physical health. So now we're taking that to another level of being able to go and educate more folks and be able to train people and working on getting things we put into people's hands to help them make good health decisions in life. Um, because that's where we are. That's our conversation. That's our daily talk. Um, and we've seen so many things happen in 24. Like you never thought you would see the CEO of a major healthcare company being assassinated, because that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and just showing where we also at a boiling point in society with so many different things. Um, we've seen a lot of history being made, and all of it has been positive. But it got like you put you in a position where you have to think about, okay, what do we do? You can't change the situation. How do we plan ahead? How do we plan forward? What's our game plan to be able to continue to take care of us? And that's what we try to talk about when we talk about financial literacy and business. Is for us, especially for Black folks, creating that economic where we are going to be okay regardless of what happens on different levels, in the federal level or no matter who's elected. And it's that's what we're trying to head and get us involved and engaged to have a say so. And what you said about that age group, so I always talk about the athletes of the world, right? 35 to 55. Those are the folks that usually hold the key positions in your society and community to keep everything rolling. And you
Yeah.
don't know how this happened or why it happened. You just benefit from it happening, but it's someone that usually in that age group, right? You can even say from 35 to 60, right? Um, but also back in the day, that's when people usually ran for office, when they were between those two ages.
Mm.
Um, they ran for office then
Not
simply
85.
no,
And
and not younger, because they
yeah.
are settled. They are in a position where they are settled, and they are moving forward in their life. They have things in place. Um, Financially, they are where they need to be. Um, they are definitely able to move things and have more disposable time. Um, that's something, that, when you look at those numbers that we talked about before weren't just something we just pulled out the air. It just say at certain places in life where your decision making and experience helps, and knowledge, and you couple that with whatever education you might have had throughout the time frame. Um, and we're seeing a change right now. We're seeing a change in the guard. We see the problems, and we talk about a lot of time with our youth. But I always tell people that same age group I just named, it's our fault. So what are we going to do going into 2025? What are we going to do to engage the youth? Where are we going to do to help take care of the elderly? What kind of organizing things are we going to put in place to help keep our community safe? How are we going to help stimulate Black businesses? You know, what securities are we going to include into our life to help make sure that our families are taken care of?
Right.
And those are things we got to ask. And people like, man, what are we going to do? This is such going to happen. What is your plan?
What is your plan?
Do you, again, Killer Mike said years ago, and we say this every time, and I'm bringing this up now as we get ready to get closer to Kwanzaa, as we start thinking about those simple things, collective work, and those things that nature. Um, if you cannot feed yourself, protect yourself, teach yourself, and clothe yourself, then how are you going to be free?
Mm-hmm. I got one for you. I came across this one, Matt. It goes
Mm,
right along with that. Um, it's from Huey P. Newton. Unarmed people are slaves.
Hmm.
Unarmed people are slaves.
Knives was so prevalent for our folks because from when our ancestors were enslaved, you didn't have a firearm, right? You had a knife because you had a knife to work. You had a knife to clean. Your knife was something that you learned to utilize because that's what you had access to. And
Yeah,
then as you evolve, you might have had an old Hun shotgun, something of that nature. But it was something for us not having firearms. And then a lot of folks got used to it because they started hunting, and then once they got got started getting access to military. But when we did get that military experience, and a group of young men came back and organized their neighborhood and community to protect them and armed everybody under the Second Amendment right, they said, guess what? That the NRA said that our gun laws should be stricter. This is in 1968 when the
hmm
Black Panther Party was marching um, and exercising their Second Amendment right to bear arms.
but 65, 67, 68 is a very pivotal time. So what
Hmm.
does 24, 25, 26 look like for it right now? Hmm.
So again, our
What's your plan?
focus
Yeah,
as things stay again as history repeats itself. A group of people that do not know their history would they be destined to repeat it. Um, that's what we say. Knowledge is power. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. There's a lot of different quotes I can give. The thing is, how are we going to take this quote and make it a plan of action for us to follow
yeah,
and stick with? We
yeah.
can give you all these catchphrases and all this, but how are we going to apply it? Because we are si- critical race theory prevents you from learning your history in the school system. I just told you a group of people that do not know their history is destined to repeat it. You don't, so it's illegal for you to learn your history. In your
In
history,
school,
you learned that it was illegal for you to learn how to read and write, but you would never
right?
learn that because you can't learn your history. So
In
it's
school,
all
like in school. So I think we gotta continue to put um all of the words into the sentence.
where when I'm saying that is when people keep saying like when we start like tomorrow we're doing financial literacy. They
Right.
don't teach. They need to teach that in school. Why would they teach that in school when we don't control our curriculum? We don't control our education system.
And speaking of financial literacy, Max, so let's go ahead and give ourselves a rundown. We got time for a checkup financial health workshop taking place right before the holidays. Don't go broke for one day. Say no to payday loans and check advances. You can check this out at Hempboro South, December 18th, 6 p.m. This is brought to you by the Epps Institute and the Health Equity Office of the Mississippi State Department of Health. We'll be discussing everything from monthly budgets, healing your credit, understanding Afterpay and Klarna, health and life insurance, how to flip your refund, and home and vehicle purchases. Visit the link on this flyer. That's bit.ly/DEC 2024 workshop to register to join this free workshop. Absolutely free to attend, free food, and you can join us, looks like online and in real time. So, Matt, who all will be going over these topics that you'll be
So
discussing
we have
during
Miss
this free?
Michelle. It's going to be one of our main coordinator.
Okay.
I'm going to be sharing some things with folks. One of the things that I'm going to talk about mostly is budgeting and just playing into what we're seeing on social media. If you're afraid when the orange man take office that everything is going to go to hell in a handbasket, then you got to say, what are you going to do in 24 to be prepared?
Yeah.
How have you changed your budget? Have you started looking at the things that you're going to need? What are some items that could potentially go, through the roof and cost? You know, this makes you do research, right? If you're talking about putting tariffs on certain groups, if you're talking about, um, you know, if you're paying attention to the news and who the conversation and the wars has been with, then you got to look at what do you receive from these countries, and is
Yeah,
that item going to be hard to get? And what is your alternative to get this item from another country? So you need to be getting what you can get, especially if it's something that you need on a day-to-day basis to run your house.
right.
Um, but that's that planning process that we talked about. Another initiative we're going to jump off under the umbrella of health. We'll be talking about gardening, urban planning. So we got some things we're going to do. We got to come up with a date for this ag health event. But it's going to be trying to take about 50 families and connect them with bags, like these potted bags, a bag of soil and some seeds,
Yeah,
right? And we're gonna give you a small
make some
video,
boxes.
So it might be something simple, if you like
Yeah.
tomatoes, if you like onions, if whatever it is that you like, um,
What?
you could be able to start this process and encouraging folks to do more to grow their own food. Um, so that's where we are with this situation. We can let folks scare you into being panicking, or you can prepare. You're gonna do both. You're gonna panic, or you're gonna prepare. Um, so that's what we are going on preparing. We are getting ready to prepare. And if you want to be like us, then reach out to us. No matter what hat we're wearing, our hats are all always about the people. I would say
Yes.
that again for the people in the back. No matter what hat we're wearing, our hats are always about bringing results and assisting the people, our community.
Yeah.
We definitely believe in people over profit, um, and we
Ooh.
must always protect the people. So
The
we
the
just got
thing I hear you saying, Mac.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, hold on. I'm gonna write the things down because it jogged my memory with something. Um, with us being about the people. Um, the thing that comes to mind for me when I hear you say that, when you're in a professional situation and um, I guess there might be some conversation around, well, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, uh, and other duties as needed. Uh, I think when the way that we've been able to live our lives, let's just limit it to 2024, being able to be one of those people that can handle the quote other duties as needed, meaning that the average person doesn't have at their disposal, a warehouse full of equipment for lighting, DJ, et cetera, et cetera. The average person doesn't have a team of massage therapists, bartenders, and event staff. The average person doesn't have a dedicated group of mental health professionals or um, uh, connections with educational institutions that are training, the next wave of health workers. Um, I get the point that I'm making is that some people, employers, I guess employers would be the right way to say it. Some people put the other things or other duties as needed in job descriptions when they've not developed a, a pay scale that is appropriate with that very, very large grouping. Like other duties as needed ain't just picking up trash. Like I know how to do that. I know how to pick up trash. But other duties as needed, like plan this event and get it on the news, or help these people that are experiencing, this level of difficulty. Um, I think that there needs to be a bit more respect put on people's names that can handle, especially with things that have been thrown at them at 2024. You need to really thank those people that can be a utility knife. Like you're a toolbox, or you got a toolbox where you can pull from when it's time to do other duties as needed. But honestly, you hired me to do one thing. I got one thing, one position, or one title. When you get folks that are organizations or groups that want things done a certain way, like, you really got to take the whole person. And when you take the whole person, you get a different result. If you try to get the person in just that one skill that you want or need out of them, then your result changes. And I think if there's a lesson that I'm gonna pull out of 2024, I'm not going into places that won't receive the whole me.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely. Um, there are people that know that about groups. Like their intention is to get you engaged because they know if they get chucked, they get a slew of folks in multiple organizations and agencies. So if I get Chuck involved, right, and then Chuck, if you need some manpower, well, Chuck gonna call the young Qs at Tulu. I got folks that can do everything that's needed. If you can just get Chuck involved, then you can get that's people that good coaches. Good coaches gonna find out what's Chuck's strength,
Right.
right? Um, I give you an example. Coach Prime allowed Travis Hunter to do what Travis Hunter did, right? He didn't try to force him to play receiver or to play cornerback. As long as he could produce and get out there and play both sides of the ball, he did it.
Buddy.
And with
Buddy.
him doing that, it allowed him to be in two categories for the Heisman, and he won. But it takes folks to see this is more beneficial to allow you to do that
Yeah.
than to try to put you in a box and say, no, I know you said you played this in high school. This ain't high school. I want you to play this. We got a friend now that played defensive tackle, right? He was 265 in high school. He ran a 4.6 as a defensive tackle. He chased one of our fastest running backs down the field. And he was telling me, and he was laughing. He said, man, I could never catch that fella, number 20, 24. I could never catch him. And number 24 was from my high school. And he said, man, I had a defensive tackle that was on my tail. I'm going to let a defensive tackle catch me. He said, you had a defensive tackle that was keeping up with the running back. I wasn't going to let that
Yeah.
man get his hands on me. So they both had two different motivations, right?
Yeah.
Um, but the point of the story was when he went to college, the coach wanted him to play kickoff return. And he's like, no, I play defense. Never got a chance to try. He's like, no, you when you build, you'd be great at kickoff.
Yeah.
But I played defense. And he never played in college because you try to make him play what you wanted him to play versus even seeing how he would do playing the positions that he used to play.
Mm.
And so a lot of times I've seen this, and I would say it from the city of Jackson to Tougaloo College. People come in with a cape on, with a saving mentality, thinking they're going to fix something that's broken, and they never took a time to get a lay of the land to see what was working really well and to get in where they fit in versus
Right.
trying to force themselves in. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You're a square trying to force yourself into a circle
He,
because that's where you want to be. Maybe not where you're needed to be or
yeah.
where you should be. It's where you want to be. And that's what I would say for 25 for us is helping people understand. And as we do it ourselves, is making sure that we are where we should be and where we need to be and where we want to be, and not so much of where folks think that you should and won't. Um, you got to do you got to do that because once you're in your comfort zone and you're doing something you enjoy, you never work,
Yeah.
right? You never
Yep.
work, and if you
100%.
never work, you don't deal with that stress of regret of I sure don't feel like dealing. You don't deal with that. You think
Yeah.
about it like, man, how can I do this? I can't wait to go today. I can't wait to do this because the reception is different. So um, we got a lot going on in 25. We definitely gonna be hitting folks hard with voter registration. Register where you vote. Accountability for things that are being purged off the voter roll because
Yeah.
this is the year that you elect your city council, board of aldermen, and your mayors. This is the year in 25.
Hmm.
So the people that directly affects you, that directly connected to you and has a say so in things that are going on right now in your house are those folks. And we want to make sure that you are registered where you live, you're properly educated on the capacity of the positions and the capacity of the people that's running for those positions, and that you make your voice and your vote heard. Again, as we said before, you always got to make sure they respect your vote and your dollar.
That is.
Don't be don't be afraid. Let me say it like this. Don't be afraid to have a cart full of groceries and they say something and you say, I'm gonna leave this shit right here and leave it. Don't be afraid to do that. I do not do self checkout. I am not gonna pay for groceries and work too. I'm not gonna do it. If can't nobody check me out, I'm gonna leave all this shit right here.
I'll leave it right here.
And now somebody gonna have to double work.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. It's okay to set the tone on how you want to be treated and set a standard. You go in there just as polite. Is anyone here to check me out? We don't do checkout at this time. Well, ain't nobody gonna check me out. No, you can do self. I'm not gonna do self checkout. Now I got $300 worth of stuff in here. Anybody gonna check me out? You can do it yourself. I'm gonna leave this shit right here and leave it.
Well, well, look, you're thinking about people that we helped and they helped us, and
Mhm.
we pushed ourselves into a position uh, that has proved advantageous, and it gives us a an outlook on 25. Mac, I'd like to share some of the recap videos from some of the student actions that we facilitated between University of Southern Mississippi and Tougaloo. So I think between those two, we'll watch these clips and then um kind of flow into what we got going next, and then we'll end the show. So without further ado, let's look at Southern Mississippi. Um, this was during our
Where'd you go, Chuck?
yeah. I'm not sure what's going on with my share, but they don't want me to show these videos, but we finna show 'em. Uh, Southern Mississippi at the Thad Cocker Center, one of our moves that we made this year, and here we go.
Mississippi Move has been keeping in touch and keeping the pulse of new voters around the state. What are some of these young champions saying? Let's listen in.
Hey, my name is Amaya Frazier. I am from Goshen, Mississippi. My view on the election, I think, is very, very important for anybody under the age of 25 to vote because we have so many things and so many regulations that's really geared to our generation. And as we continue to grow, we're going to have a lot more things that we're going to have to resolve. So I feel like if everybody under the age of 25 can vote, we can make a big difference and we can really, really create a big change further down the line. So that's my view. That's what I think.
Hi, my name is Isabella Salcedo. I'm from Gulf Shores, Alabama. And as a new voter, I'm very excited to see what the results are going to be. I believe that through my research, I am still deciding which one is better for me. You can go with the majority of my age range, or you can go with the older age range. And I feel like I'm still deciding and trying to figure it out.
Hello, everybody. I'm Don. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I think this election is not really that fun, but hey, still ready to vote. Hey, I'm Ethan. I'm from Mendenhall, Mississippi. I'm excited to vote. You know, you've got two candidates. Yeah.
Hey, my name is Cameron Frazier. I'm from Gulfstream, Mississippi, and I think voting is important because it's important to voice your opinions. There's a lot of opinions that's being put out into the world, but people don't want to come out to vote. So when the elections come back and the results come back, they get mad, but they had the opportunity to voice their opinion. So I feel like you should get out there, voice your opinion, and vote. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Nyla, and I just registered to
Nala.
vote like a couple months ago, so I haven't voted yet. It's gonna be my first time, but I'm very excited because I feel a lot older. You know, big girl things. Yes, very excited.
That's cool, man. That's dope. That's dope. Oh man. All right, Mac. So look,
Bruh.
but my boy was like, we got two
There's two
candidates.
candidates, and yep,
Yeah.
it was just that. You're like, you ain't gonna get me in the trick bag, no sir. No sir. You're not gonna get me in the trick bag.
We got two candidates. Yeah.
And that's it. All right. I think that feedback, man, and getting that information from the youth, um, which
Yeah.
are close to the ages when we first started, this process would move. Our focus point, um, and getting their raw feedback. I think the job, like I said, now is keeping them engaged, tapping them and continue to help them understand. There's a lot of hype, a lot of energy around presidential elections, but they got to understand that it's important for them to be active and
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
same energy in all the elections.
Yeah.
And I'm telling about me and Sabir talked about this. Hey, you want your children to be excited, and we say this, and I will give credit to Commissioner Stamps.
You gotta be
The
excited.
children and everybody know football better than they know anything else because we started them with football early.
Yep.
You don't
Yeah.
take the day,
Yeah.
right? You don't take off early to spend the day on election day to
I mean,
take your
some
child
people
with you.
aren't even having that conversation around. Like, man, all right, memory jog. We got to bring back ice cream Sunday. Got to
Right.
bring it back.
We're not having these conversations that's needed to keep our children engaged, to make it
Exactly.
exciting for them. So if you want them to be excited for them, they need to be exciting for you.
Yep.
Then if you start early enough, because there is a time frame when your children are like, well, you know what, I got something else better to do. I want to go over here and do this, right?
Yep.
But while you have their attention, take them to to be involved on the election day. Help them understand what's happening behind the scenes. Understand how important that is. Um, they are people that work union jobs, don't understand how important the electoral process is to what they do.
Yeah.
There are people that, it's a lot of firsts. There was activism and movement and organizing and protests and sit-ins to get a lot of the firsts. Then now, there's a lot of you in that same position, but people had to get to that position. Um, they had to fight to get that first position, and
Yeah.
part of that steps is making sure that you had some involvement in the electoral process. Um, so I think that's one thing we want to do is start with our circles and challenge and get us involved, um, where we are having more of the youth and children to understand why this is important and breaking it down to them. Because one thing about it, once we get this age group engaged, they're going to ask questions, right? And a lot of stuff that we take for granted, they weren't exposed to, and a lot of stuff that we take for granted, they Lots of stuff that they take for granted. They don't understand the history behind it, right? And we got to break it down and explain it to them, and show them, and then once they get it, allow them to be able to speak the knowledge in their language, where others in their age group can understand it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all talk different when we get around our age group in our circle, because it's certain quotes, terms, and sayings and slangs that were
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
And when you get around each other, you start saying, and people are like, what? It could be a rental hall thing, right? And it'd be something, right? You're like, what does that mean, right? You and those folks that was with you in college know what that means. Everybody else like, what are you doing?
Gotcha. Give me mine.
People do not know, right?
Those
But
games, those games would go on for days, weeks at a time.
I'll listen. And bouncing back, we talking about simple times and things that was crazy. We played BB Bush in school.
Mm.
You know what BB Bush is?
BB Bush?
Yeah. So if you play in a game and you say something that starts with a B without saying BB Bush, everybody that's playing will start firing off and hitting you in the chest.
Oh, okay. We ain't call it that. I don't even know what we called it, but yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
It be people that around you that you ain't even paying attention. And
You had
it
no
be
idea
always
they
some
were
crazy joke that you be talking to the teacher or somebody. You're like, yeah, I went back, and you be like, you can't even get it out. You know, like, for real, you gonna hit me right now when I'm talking to the teacher?
Yeah.
Those simple things that we had, right? But
Yeah.
the children, my daughter, your children, they got things like that for their age group. Matter of fact, for us, that's a conversation we can ask. What do y'all have that's similar to this? They might not even play that game, but they got something.
Yeah.
Believe me, they have something. It might not be something
Hold
as exact, that is exact as that, but it's gonna be something that they do, that they play.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get us to the money reside after this one. For his birthday, Jackson got a set of spoons.
A set of what?
Spoons. What you got to say about that? We'll see y'all next week. We get to where? Oh, we get to where the money reside, baby.
Wait.
Spoons a number of times, but man, look, we definitely gotta appreciate all of our nightcappers for allowing us to come into your wherever you are, your room, your phone, your home. Man, we appreciate y'all, man. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. Man, God bless you. God bless you so much. We'll see y'all next week. Nightcap Knowledge. This has been a recap. It ain't over. It ain't never over. Let's go.